Figured I'd answer some comments that have been kind of lurking around while I'm walking the dogs. Look at that water, that just looks terrible. I don't get paid to do this. I get paid to be an attorney. I don't get paid well to be an attorney. Yes, the law firm that I work for charges $350 an hour. Typically my time is billed out at $300 an hour unless for some reason he thinks that I should be billed out at $350 an hour. I do not get paid $300 to $350 an hour. I get paid about $40 an hour, give or take. I get paid based on billable hours. That means if I'm at work for 10 hours and I manage to bill on a good day, probably in 10 hours, I'd probably be able to bill about 7 hours out of a 10-hour day to clients for work done, then that's what I would get paid for. Some days you only work, a few hours. If there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do. You can't just bill clients just for grins and giggles. You got to bill them for work you're actually doing. So there you go. I am certainly by no stretch of the imagination rich. I am certainly by no stretch of the imagination working for a government entity. I have looked into working in the public defender's office or the deputy attorney general's office in California. I opted rather to go into private practice for several reasons. The main reason being that if I bill out 40 hours a week, I'll make a little over $80,000 a year. So awesome. I'm not going to do that, but if I worked for the state, I would be getting about $65,000-ish a year. It would be solid, it would be straight, which would be great. However, if I was a public defender of some sort, I would be getting about 2 to 3 hours to work on each case. And personally, I wouldn't feel very comfortable trying with someone's life in my hands, their life, their welfare, their well-being. If they're facing fines, I mean, you might only think, oh, it's only like a $1,500 fine or whatever, but to some people, that's like their next rent check. That's a lot to put on someone when you only give that person, 2 to 3 hours to figure out what to do with that case. So I wasn't terribly thrilled with that. I am very thankful to those people who are willing to do that kind of work because we need them. I'm not particularly enamored with that aspect of the system. That being said, I'm not entirely sure there is a better way to do it. So, just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it's broken. As far as being a deputy attorney general, again, that doesn't really particularly thrill me. I might be forced to bring a prosecution against someone who I think is innocent, or I may think the prosecution is unjustified, but the state would be my client. I would have an ethical obligation to bring that prosecution, and that doesn't make me very happy. So I'm not saying I would never do that, but I am saying that that is not my preference. Why do I focus on Mr. Freeman? I focus on Mr. Freeman because I think Mr. Freeman is important right now. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. He is a very squeaky wheel. He is also a wheel that I think is susceptible to being greased. I don't necessarily think he is as far gone as some of the others. He is much more intelligent than some of the others. I would suspect he has some degree of education, or at least he paid attention enough in high school, or maybe he just has an underlying ability to think. But I think of many of them, he's one of the most problematic and has the most potential for being rehabilitated. That's why I focus on him. People like News Now Houston weren't as big of an issue until very recently, so I didn't feel a need to make a video on them. Some of the California guys I don't really concentrate on. I do want to mea culpa out to California Guardian. He is correct. He was not stating that particular building, that he was filming it because there were federal regulations on it. I was not paying very close attention. Like I said, I was listening to it in the car on the way to work, and that did escape me. I apologize for the insinuation. However, I am leaving the video up, not because I think that California Guardian needs the education per se, but because I've seen a lot of California auditors. I've seen a lot of auditors in general audit places like Boeing and things like that, simply because, well, they get government funding, so they should respect my First Amendment right. I mean, freaking Nasty Nathaniel. Oh, right, it's Nasty Nathaniel. He does First Amendment audits in the Philippines, which I don't know about the Philippines Constitution, but I am somewhat questioning whether or not they have a First Amendment or a First Amendment like we have, and whether their particular jurisprudence has defined their First Amendment like our courts have defined our First Amendment right. Where was I going? Okay, so the Chicago shooting versus the potential in Leon Valley. I'm asked why I am concerned and upset over one and not concerned and upset over the other, because there's a lot of reasons. If the question was specifically about the shooting by the Chicago police of the person, that will probably be justified. I'm just going to go out on a limb and suggest the guy who was armed with an automatic weapon probably was shot justifiably. Now, I never am thrilled or happy, or I never want anybody to be shot by the police, but it is a sad fact of reality that sometimes people don't go along willingly. Sometimes you can't just ask nicely. So there you go. As far as the potential for the riot is concerned, they have happened before. There's nothing really much I could do about it. I don't think any riot would be justified particularly, especially since we haven't heard yet as to whether the particular, stop pulling me, the particular shooting was justified, and there you go. Now, there is a huge difference between the Leon Valley situation and the situation in Chicago, in that I know and follow, and it's kind of weird, I understand it, but I kind of have a relationship with them. And not in reality, not like I call them and talk to them and chill with them and have beers with them, but in that I spend a good deal of my day, every day, watching videos from these people, seeing little bits of their personality come through, their hopes, their dreams, their fears. You know, when I say that I actually have a concern with this community, that I actually want the best for the people in it, they call me the OG troll. It's because I've been involved in this community for at least 5 years, maybe more, probably more. I came into, I don't know, it depended on when my wife was doing that class, that photography class. That would be the defining moment, and I think that was about 2011. It was probably right around the time I made my channel. So, just since a very short period of time after I made my channel, I've been interested in First Amendment community, First Amendment audits, things like that. So yeah, it's more important to me. And then there's also the underlying fact that riots happen all the time in the inner cities. It is not uncommon. I don't think it's particularly going to affect our rights. I mean, it's a fairly common thing. However, this particular instance in Leon Valley, it could set up increased restrictions on filming, on open carry. I know I'm not in Texas. I know it technically doesn't affect me, but I still, like, one of the reasons why I'm so hard on Mexican Padilla is because it was his nonsense that got filming restricted in the police station at Leon Valley. He is solely to blame for that. It was his causing a disturbance that gave them the rationale to make the policies that prevent filming. So congratulations, Mexican Padilla. You ruined it for everybody. And I'm suspecting that the Leon Valley protest on the 21st will also ruin it for everybody. You have to understand they do have the lawsuit moving forward in theory. If they win on the lawsuit, then they would get an injunction theoretically against the restrictions on filming. So why protest it? It's absolutely retarded. It's stupid. It is poorly thought out. It is not strategic at all, and it is being approached in a really ridiculous manner. And I think there were other questions that I was going to answer in here. I probably have rambled long enough. Oh yeah. Some people are very, oh, you know, you're internet famous or you're YouTube famous. I don't see it that way. I do a lot to try to prevent that. I understand there is a strong drive in humans to, you know, you want to be popular, you want to be famous, all that fun stuff. I try my best to read and respond to everybody's comments, even the ones I disagree with. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to be the big head guy. I don't want to be the guy who surrounds myself in my little bubble. That's another thing, yeah. You see a lot of people who are saying, oh, it's the, you know, they're trying to compare this to the Boston Tea Party. Oh, it's the next revolution, guys. The American Revolution, it happened because a majority of the population of the colonies were in disagreement with how the English were running it. What this population fails to understand in their isolated little communities, in their minuscule little communities, is that the internet has really created a great place for people to find other people who share their interests and ideas, and they can shelter themselves from the interests and ideas that they don't want to see. There are people on the internet, there are communities dedicated to flat Earth. Now, you're not going to find very many people out in society who think that there is a flat Earth, but you will find people on the internet who believe that. There are people on the internet, there are societies of people who believe that the moon is a hologram. There are people who believe that we've never been to the moon. I mean, there's all sorts of niche ideas, niche groups out there that are patently ridiculous and completely unsupported by the public at large. And that is what this movement is. They think that they're going to be, but you could hear this kind of rhetoric in all these people, you know, patriots. It's the patriots. That Vince Edwards idiot, whatever the hell his name is. The wackadoodle dude who's running for sheriff while he's currently engaged in a criminal trial. I mean, that guy's a fruitcake. He is just he's nuttier than a Snickers bar. But he's, you know, he thinks that he's a patriot, and he thinks that the people who support him are patriots. And, you know, the patriots will rise. And you hear that kind of language echoed all over the place. It's bad enough when you hear it from political parties. You hear political parties suggesting that they are the true patriots and the other political party is not the true patriot. It's all nonsense. But the underlying point is that I don't want to get involved. I don't want to fall prey to that idea that my position is the majority position. It's not. Like I said, I'm firmly against inland border patrol checkpoints. The general public is not. So I have to keep that perspective. And you all should keep it too. Again, if you ever want a cold splash of reality, go to like Mike the Cop's channel, or Donut, God, what the hell's his name? Donut Operator, or there's a bunch of police channels out there, and they get a ton of more subscribers than News Now Houston. I mean, they put his channel to shame. It's the First Amendment auditors are not a majority kind of thing. At best, all we could say is that we are good drama. And that may be sobering to you, but that is the truth. We are good drama. And you may have noticed in Leon Valley that the population of Leon Valley, sans one, apparently they found one proprietor who's going to shill his alkaline water to the masses who want to believe that the auditors are popular in Leon Valley. I mean, there was no turnout. There was no popular support. Understand that. Just realize it and understand how your tactics are actually undermining popular support, how your tactics are driving away public support. So that's a big reason why I don't censor my page, why I read the comments. I try to respond to all of them, if not in actual typed out response in a video format. If I can catch a bunch of them in a video, I'll do that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.